Hey there, check. Apakah ini sudah terdengar? Is this ready? I think it is ready at all. Okay, I'm just heading in south and worry about myself, I guess. But I'm here. I'm gonna talk about how to make music as beginner friendly. When you don't know about chord scale, when you don't know about anything else in particular, the only thing you need is basic. Okay, what I need is basic. Let's say I don't know about music, like I don't even know about you know a harmony. I don't know what's harmony. What is like chord? What is chord progression? What is that something you call it again? I have no idea. But like anything else, you can create everything from the basic. What you need is two different note. Okay, two different note. I guess I don't know. Just like okay, you just need two different piano note for making music. If you are in I don't know, if DAW, your DAW, you need two chord. It's not you don't need two chord. You just need two note. First is a high octave. It's not really high. It's just like sitting in the mid to high. Only one note. This is your real melody. Okay, this is your real melody is staying up. Real melody is staying up. While you need another note, which actually the bass note. Your bass note will sitting down. This is only starting point, so you need to make it sure that everything from melody note and your bass note sound good. If your up melody octave, your high octave, and your bass sound good, then we can create the full scale. Okay, you need to create the full scale from the start, from the very beginning of the music until the end, like it is 3 minutes. So you start from 0 second, up goes until like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't care. You need to do that. Why? We need this bass note, your true melody, yeah, your real melody. This is what your music gonna be. Your music gonna be around from this high note. Okay, the bass note is you're gonna make sure that this bass note it will actually sound helping the octave. If both bass note and the mid to high note is sounds good to you, we just need two keys, one down and one in the high. We create the first from 0 second up until the finish. And let's say I'm gonna create until like 5 minutes or maybe like okay, let's start at 5 minutes. We're going to create the opening. Okay, why? We're talking about part. Just like any music, like story, music also have a story to tell. What is the first? The first is like we create opening. Maybe after we create opening, we create this actually your true melody, and then we come to the section which actually, if there is like music like everyone else does, let's say your music, the first opening might be not the ref, but casually. I don't know. I'm not really good at music, but anyway, this is like the part when the people sing. Then we come to the almost ref. Okay, in this middle is transition. Okay, so this is the opening. The opening, people singing something. We go into the transition before we can come to the ref. The ref is this our main melody theme, and then we have this transition. We come down to start singing again, and this is music, guys. I think this is music in some kind of general things, but how about music in orchestra? That is something I learned very hard. I never make orchestra. Yes, I never make an orchestra music. However, if we are using the bass note, the bass thing, as I did, we create two notes, mid to high bass note from start to finish. Let's say orchestra maybe 3 4 minutes for single piece. Now like epic orchestra sound whatever like that. We gonna need this thing. After you creating this note, let's say you guess from opening, and then we come to the ref. Okay, repetition, your true melody here. So we come opening the first part, a few seconds, maybe like 40 seconds, and then, or maybe like just like straight up to the ref. I don't know. There is a lot of things. So the first thing is beginning, and then we come to the ref. The ref is your main melody. Then we come to the singing part. We are singing. Why? What are we singing? We can sing anything. We can actually sing the main melody, the main melody, the main ref into, like if we sing the first main melody in happy voice, we can sing this second part is different but sad maybe, or just like dark, or just like anything else, or we can sing something else entirely different from the ref. And then after this we're going to make a transition. Okay, after this first main melody, maybe then after that is actually the singing part, and then you come to transition, and then we come to this main melody again, and then we maybe go to the singing again, and then the ending is actually the same ref, main melody. That's it. Then this is actually the chapter, what we can create from this chapter. You can also create something else different in a story, in a music story. Okay, anyway, after this we're gonna create something. If we finish these two bass, this melody, the first mid and high octave, and also the bass note, we can add what? We then adding this orchestra, the simple one. We can use string, or maybe like the bass. We can use like the string bass, or we can using full string ensemble, or we can use string and also the brass section here, or we can doing something. Do not make it this too complicated. We need to make sure our true harmony, the real harmony here, is sound out, not outstanding, but people can hear this very well. After we can do this, like after we refining this note into this kind of string section, brass section, or whatever you wanted, then we can goes like, you have to do it before this. You have to do it the string section and bass section, or maybe like whatever you want it, up to the finish, from the start to the finish. After this, you will see a body. All of this is actually the bass, the bass body, the bass. Like if we create 2D art, we're gonna start from blocks. From blocks, we can create a silhouette of body, but we don't know what is it going to be. The body we can create, but we need to adding clothes on it. So this music is also the same. In this music, after we creating the body, contains the only essential essential melody. You might want it in string, you might want it in brass section, you might want it in woodwinds, I don't know. If we create this body, then we can come into giving it clothes. What do I mean giving it clothes? We already starting to make the basic standard note, to make sure that we can draw music from start to finish, and then we make a body which is actually giving this essential only music part to this note in your doll. And what we're gonna do is we're creating ornament. We're creating, like clothes or something. We create maybe like all of this evac, all of this riser, all of these things which is coming through this, and which is creating all of this music from the start. We just create a note, we create body, then we create this you know clothes clothing. You create the clothing, you create something to make sure it sounds helping, just make it sure it sounds good, because we already did in this part before. you know when we create essential note, we're gonna make sure that essential note will be heard amazingly. And then we create the next layer, which is the next layer is clothing. You giving ornament, you might going giving like changing a lot of things, not a lot of things, just few things, just creating, giving like sound effect, like riser, maybe whatever it is. And then we come to these refinement is actually part when you already giving clothes, but you want still, if you still want it to be sound different, now we can changing those notes from the essential notes to the other instrument. Maybe we using string, but what if we use another instrument, or we just double the instruments in it? You can create that now, that anything is already been like accomplished. So why are we doing it now? Because essentially we wanted our real harmony to be heard, and then after our real harmony to be is heard really clear, then we added clothing. All of those effect is just to make sure that we don't get bored, like with this music, like getting bored, like something like that. And after this, we can create it changing up, because we already can hear our true melody. So this is how you make music from beginner. My perspective. My perspective like this. Why I did it this way? Because from my perspective, when you draw 2D art, let's say you want to draw an anime characters, or maybe anything else, the first thing you're gonna draw is basic shape, like oval, eclipse, maybe a box or triangles, whatever like that. And then after you create these basic things, you creating another things, volumes. Okay, you start drawing it. You make sure that this basic shape you just draw here is getting pop out more. You giving it shape, you giving it like body, the base body, the base body, so you can clearly see how your character will look like. If you already see the character what will look like in this body, you giving it a clothing and unique enhancement. But you still not drawing, you still not like giving it color, you just drawing the clothing. You refine the clothing, you refine these looks, so it really visible and you can see what is this. If you already see this, like your characters is made in black and white, but also all those line is perfectly aligned by your views, by your angle, this is actually good enough for you, then you goes with color. This is the color. The color, you can goes crazy with colors. You can add shading, you can add lighting, you can make the color flat, you can make the color like like the RGB, the hue. You can make it like like there is a lot of things about coloring, but you understand this anime characters, or maybe like this drawing you make have a color, hard color, flat color, whatever. It's gonna be your taste. It's gonna be your taste. This is also music. The same. We create from the start to finish. two notes, only two notes. The first one is the mid to high note, and then the bass note. Second is the bass note. Then we create essential core as instrument to make sure our music pop up. Then we create clothing. Okay, we create clothing to getting effect, to getting whatever is riser, whatever doing that. And then if we want to make more, we already have the body here, we already have the clothing here. If you want to create a color, we can give it more. We just we already make it from start until finished. Then we're gonna need to make it. One thing that I did a lot of things. One thing that I understand and that is my mistake is I try to render from the first minute of this music. If I render this music like I'm just drawing the head of a characters and the hair is really good, but then from 1 minute to this 20 to this 3 minutes, from 1 minute to 3 minutes, we actually creating the body, right? If we cannot render this, actually it look like when you draw something, your head is perfectly good, it's really good, it have a really perfect anatomy, and then somehow you draw the body which is kinda like very very something, it's not actually fit with your head. So the first music and then the second is kind of bit flop. That is my mistake. My mistake is I'm trying to render like GPU, you know, but I'm trying to render Blender. I try to render an image from the start to finish. However, the first rendering section is really good, but then we have artifacts, we have something else that is make the rendering section is really bad in the end. So this is actually my mistake. So this is happened. The same happened to the art, to the art actually, and this to the art. What we learn from 2D art is also happen to this music. I think this is why we're gonna need to make sure that music. It's not like we're gonna make sure that, but from what I see, like everything is start from basic. Programming also does that. What do we need from the programming basic? We don't learn from variable, but we learn from workflow. We learn from blueprints. If you want to create some UI for interface for people to log in to this your website, we create a workflow. How do we do it first? What are we gonna do first? What are we gonna do first? Then what happened next? What happened next? What happened next? And then all of this problem from the programming section, which actually the workflow, we gonna break into the small problem. How can we implement this in our code? So this is actually what is basic look like. I mean, like everything start from basics. So I guess this is also apply to every other rules when you're trying to do something. I don't know. That's just my intuition. I think this is me. Learning from me is making video for myself. Well, teaching you guys is really good.